welcome back to Attingham Park. And before we progress time, which I had planned to do, we have another job to do. I had forgotten to roll this grass field, and it'll bug me if it is stuck at the needs rolling state forever. So I'm going to roll it. I actually thought I had the modding, which meant we didn't need to roll, but the seedbed reconciliation mod, but I guess not. So at least the base game roll, I just want to get this job done. And I'm going to crack on with it. So the things that we have planned for today, a bit of a variety of jobs. We're going to get some of the manure shipped out of here because we want to be making some money off of this. And we have grass to cut. Yeah, I know I'm doing a lot of it lately. It's where all the save games are at the moment. So we're going to be mowing some grass for hay later and then leaving it out to dry. But that will all be in September. I'm just checking that we're getting the change in state. And I've just eaten my dinner, so there may be the odd moment of it repeating on me. It's unfortunate timing. I am away again tonight. I'm in a delightful travel lodge, and I was really hungry. No repeats of the room service issues of last week, because there was no room service, because although I'm sort of traveling for work, I'm paying the bill because I'm in the office, and so work doesn't pay me to stay away when I'm in the office, but it's far enough away that it's actually more economical sometimes for me to, or the price, the difference between the cost of diesel and the cost of a hotel is kind of minimal. And it saves me a bunch of time in the car, and I don't end up as exhausted through the week. So it's something that I started doing last year. Was it last year? Maybe the year before, when that whole global thing happened, with that thing beginning with C. Hotels got really cheap when they reopened because they needed to attract people back. One of the guys I work with, he lives even further away. His drive is, he lives about 4 or 5 hours away from work, and he's always stayed locally. He used to stay, so essentially house sit for some people, but had to stop doing that because of the pandemic thing. And he put me on to the fact that hotels had got cheap. That has slowly crept up, but there are still some around that are quite a good deal, and they say it saves a lot of time, a lot of tiredness, and the cost difference is negligible. So Mrs. D and I thought it was a good idea to do this. It makes traveling and being away, being in the office at work, less exhausting. Yeah, some of you might find that weird, some of you might not. It's what it is. It's one of the things of having a job that's kind of limited on the locations that you can do it. There are only so many companies that I can work for. I actually really enjoy working for the company that I work for, doing what I do. And most of the time I do get to work at home, but not always. So yeah, and it's definitely become more of a thing in the last probably, I don't know how many months. I've been doing the staying away overnight for work thing for quite a while, but work travel has definitely come back, which, and I speak about this quite a lot because quite often I'm recording when I'm away because it's just how it works out. I used to love traveling with work. Now I can kind of take or leave it. It's sometimes quite nice to be away in a nice hotel for the night, unless you get one like last week where they've waited forever for a burger. But when I'm traveling like I am this week, I actually bring my own food with me, because I eat quite an unusual diet. So because of some sort of low level allergies that I have, and I feel best eating certain types of food, so that's what I eat. And yeah, I just travel with my own food when I'm away like this. So makes it a bit cheaper. That is that job done. I'm not a fan of rolling generally, which is amusing because this video and one of the next ones that you'll see have me rolling in, which is, yeah, it's a necessary evil. If it's funny, so I generally don't mulch because the gain is tiny. I roll because the map tells me needs rolling, and that really triggers me. It's one of those things. Yeah. When I say the phrase that the teenager suffers with autism and some things like that, and she suggests that I'm maybe undiagnosed, and the term that I learnt when we were doing university open days, so we're just renaming the farm because it's not Beefton Farm, it is Wellington Farm now. Yeah, the term that I learnt was neurodivergent, and yeah, I think it's part of my neurodivergence is that things like that really bug me. If it didn't say needs rolling when I stood in the field, I wouldn't care, because the gain from rolling is negligible, particularly with precision farming, where it's the wrong type of roller anyway. It's not even a grassland roller to get you the fertilization state. But I do it because the game wants me to do it, pretty much. It's how I play, you know. I tend to play for kind of efficiency, almost efficiency versus yield, I guess. And sometimes I'll do stuff just because it's interesting. That occasionally I'll get out the we're stuck. What's the word? The crop scanner, and I'll scan the crops and do extra fertilizing to get perfect fertilization. But quite often I won't. I just noticed we've skipped ahead a day, so the grass is already starting to grow. And I'm now just trying to get auto drive hooked up to be able to run auto drive to do the trip with the manure from here down to the dairy farm with the BGA until we put another BGA up here, which I'm still pondering, but for now we're going to use auto drive to do this. It's one of the frustrations I have with this shed, because the manure is stored in the cow shed. Sorry, I can't tell how much is in there, and that really bugs me. So I thought we'd probably have quite a lot, so I'd do a couple of runs. Actually, it turns out we have one and a tiny bit. So I can get this all set up, but actually it's not going to loop. The plus side, it probably means I only need to do it every other day, maybe once a month. I'm not sure. So we'll, basically we'll see how it goes. But things like this, I think I want to automate because we need to be doing it regularly to keep money coming in. You may have noticed, I have just noticed, I have it in dollars. This is going to become more of a problem because I didn't get to record on the green place. I'm just deleting the open cow pasture now, so that we can turn this into a grass field. And Hilly, thank you for making that. It was really cool having it there, but with having animals dying now, I need to keep them fed, and that means I need to make money off them. So that's why we moved them. I'm just going to tweak this really random divot I have in the auto drive course here as well. I've lost track of what I was saying completely. Yeah. Currency. You'll notice that the game is currently in dollars. That's going to be more of a problem now because I have the green place with Cartech, which just say I didn't get to do. We didn't get to record last week because I had some family stuff to sort out. I've got Ohio, which I'm playing quite a lot. I'm probably playing on that 2 or 3 times a week, and trying to remember to switch currencies. And then I've got Furling for the patrons, and that's done in euros when I remember. So it's going to be a thing. I so wish that Giants would implement saving currencies with save games. I don't get why it's so hard to have that as a feature. Have you got seasonal growth on or not? That's in the save game. Why can't currencies be in the save game? Yeah, that really bugs me. It annoys me when I realise that I've been recording with the currency on the wrong one. But it is what it is, I guess. It's the same with when I play on Furling, I also switch to kilometres per hour. And when I play with the farming agency guys on their multiplayer, I generally switch to kilometres per hour as well. It's just how my brain works again. So quite often then I'll forget between saves to swap them, and yeah, it bugs me. But I just wish Giants would put it as part of the save game. It's how hard, I guess it's not a feature that they've implemented yet, so they would have to put time into implementing it, but it can't be that difficult, I don't think. So I'm using the pasture to turn around now because I didn't want to try and do any kind of complicated reverse loop or anything. I'm going to say thank you. I've been talking about it a bit. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. To get the best benefit, I think, and actually talking to some of the people who support the channel, Patreon is your best option if you want to support the channel for two reasons. If you go for the £5, or I think it's $6 or whatever the equivalent is in your currency, you get extra videos. So there are now 30 odd videos in the Furling series on there, so I do one of those a week. And it may not interest you, but the creators get a much bigger proportion. YouTube takes a huge amount of anything that goes through their platform, and with Patreon I get, I think, almost 80% of it. So yeah, and you get extra stuff. You get an extra video a week. Yeah, see, we've only got 2,000 litres here. Extra video a week that the folks on there seem to really enjoy. It's a bit more chilled generally. I'm just kind of chatting while I play a bit of farm sim. And you get to help with things like the Ohio Richland series was kind of decided by the patrons. I had an idea that I wanted to do a time-lapse, you know, quite a nice, easy time-lapse series. I was going to do it on a Polish map. I think I might have mentioned that. And then the Oaks came out, and I thought maybe I could do it on there. And then I thought, I'll just ask Patreon. And I put a poll up. I added the US in. They picked the US. You know, I asked whether they liked big tractors or smaller tractors. They wanted big tractors, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's totally optional. I've done far too long talking and trying to sell. Yeah, just watch the videos, enjoy them. I make these because they're fun for me to make. People seem to enjoy watching them. What really freaks me out, people seem to enjoy listening to me ramble about stuff. I hate my own voice. Well, let me get this right. I don't like listening back to myself talking. That's probably a fair statement. But you guys seem to enjoy listening to me ramble on about stuff. So that's cool. So I originally started doing the time-lapse stuff. But the tutorials have always been more popular in a way, and I started making those when there were things that I wanted to learn about that there weren't tutorials for. So the very first one I did, I think, was the beehives and honey in FS19. That mod was really cool. It was really in depth, and you know, it was a lot of work to use. And when it released, the only tutorial that was available was, I think it was in German. It might not have even been on YouTube. It might have been on Facebook. And yeah, no one else had made a tutorial on it. So I sat down, I watched bits of the, I think it was German tutorial, worked out how it worked, made a tutorial with no commentary. It just had subtitles, because that's how I made videos back then, and it did so well. And it just kind of grew from there, I think. I don't remember the kind of path then, and it was really this will surprise you because this is a video about maizePlus. The maizePlus tutorials really kicked things off for me. Don't remember if I did any courseplay or auto drive in FS19. I don't think I did much of it, if I did, because by the time I got into playing FS19, courseplay had been out forever. People like Cadet Farms had some really good tutorials on how to do it. Farm Sim Guy was starting to churn out awesome tutorials on how to use it, and so there didn't seem to be a point. But there again, with maizePlus, I was loving playing it, and B, there weren't that many tutorials, particularly in English. Schroft was doing some. I learned quite a bit from watching some of his. and my goal back then, and he respected that this time, was to make videos that didn't exist if I could. Once it got into the maizePlus updates and stuff, I was just I was making videos on the bits that interested me and that kind of thing. Actually, the other videos that did really well were the Chellington videos. And again, this came from something that I saw a lot, and something that interested me was, when big maps release, you really see all over, like Facebook and stuff. I'm playing on, it says Chellington, and I'm at the whatever farm. Where do I put feed or straw or water and that kind of thing? So I went round every farm and I just chew off where all the triggers were and all the spawn points were for all of the animals. And those got so many views. You still see it quite often as a video I'm planning to make, actually, because it's a question that keeps coming up on Facebook, because it's a newer feature for FS22 is automated watering. You see people, where do I put the water for my cows on Calmston, for example, because there is a water trough there. It's like, you don't need to. And that's not helped maybe by the in-game menu telling you need to give cows water, and so I need to give them water, and there's a trigger, but it's saying it doesn't take water, and not everyone cares about these kind of mechanics. But if they're stuck, they might go and Google it. They might go and type into YouTube. So a video that I'm planning to do at some point is one of those nice ones. It's a bit like the getting started with videos with maizePlus and the animals. They're actually, because I know a lot of the bits that I want to talk about in those, they're actually quite quick videos to make. They're quite helpful because people want to know how to do that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a nice, easy video to make. And a let's play video, let's play videos generally take much longer to make, but I get to play Farm Sim, so it's not so bad. Let's be honest, I enjoy playing Farm Sim, so I have to play Farm Sim for 2 hours to make a video or whatever. It's it's not the worst thing in the world. And sometimes the tutorials do take longer because I really want to do one, and someone's asked. I watched Cartech try playing with it. The Courseplay combine unload, I cannot get that to work. I've tried it on Maypole a couple of times now when I've been doing contracts and harvesting. I cannot get it to work. I saw Cartech tried it on one of his last Calmston videos. I've got 1.5 of those to watch, but have loved that series. He's done a cracking job with that. If you haven't watched any of it, go watch it all. He's done it's 100 videos. It was his first time making videos. It's really cool. I really enjoyed that series. It's one of the few Farm Sim videos that I still regularly watch, or did until he finished it. But yeah, so he's tried it. I can't remember who it was. Someone asked me about how to use it, and I just haven't been able to get it to work yet. I need to sit down and just spend, however long it takes to get it to work, because I think we had the feature in FS19, and actually I didn't use it very much because I found it was much more taxing on my computer than using auto drive. So maybe not, but I don't know. I am curious, and it kind of frustrates me that there's a feature that I don't know how to get it to work. So we'll probably try and crack that. Yeah, lots of rambling, eh? Whilst I've been rambling, we're cutting grass for hay. I've tried not to show huge amounts of it. Got 3 fields that I needed to mow. The cow pasture probably wants another growth state before it's really worth cutting. But I did 2 fields that you can see over on the left, and we're going to get this one mowed as well. I'm doing them with the conditioner on, and we're just going to leave them to sit and dry. It's my new thing. I did it last time we made hay on here. I'm doing it on maypole. You know, we cut the grass, we can't instantly ted it to turn it into hay. It's yeah, and I kind of like it. We'll probably come back in the next game day, 2nd of August, probably the next video. It will have dried to be hay, and we'll get it baled up and we'll get it stacked. I'm probably going to keep all of this hay over here at the main farm. I think we've got enough over at Wellington Farm to keep those cows fed. If we need to, we can always take some over. I might get the mini baler out as well and do some small hay bales for feeding the sheep through the winter, just because it will be easier to have those to go with these small bales for the whole crop silage that we made much earlier in the year. Actually, it was like quite a long time ago that we made those, but it was probably only a couple of months in game. Also, I need to say, and I'm going to show it off in a minute, which is why I need to remember who sent them to me. I need to say thank you to Dusan. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He has sent me a fresh set of grazing areas to use on Attingham that he's created, and he's put a lot more effort into it than I have. I'm just scanning through his messages very quickly. I think he spoke to GB, and he was happy for him to share it with a few people. And he's put a lot more time into making much more detailed grazing areas than I did. And I added them in when I started playing this. Obviously, some of the animals already had all their food, so not all of the grazing is kicking in. And I will see it as we go through. I think that it's different. I do show off the sheep and my cow pen because they are taking quite a bit of food. So you can see here, this is a much better grazing area. It's, you know, covering pretty much everything. It's done a really nice job there. And the same over here, and you can see there's different bits where they've grazed, but it's much more up to the edge of the field. If we fly over to Cartex farm, to Brompton farm, I'm not sure, these haven't taken any more food, so it's still got my really bad quick job that I did to put them in. Showing the new ones are in there. As they eat more, that'll kick in, and I'll show it off when we get there. But he did those for all of the farms, and it's really cool. Really appreciate it. I know some of you have asked about grazing areas for Attingham and grazing on maps in general. I don't know what's happening with the update to Attingham with GB. I'm from reading social media stuff. I know he's a very busy guy, and I'm assuming that life is a priority over farm sim modding. He did say that when the update comes out, I can release the grazing areas that I'd created. So maybe we can get these ones released when the update comes out. I don't know. You know, at some point, hopefully, Attingham will get grazing. I'm trying to think. I spoke to someone else. Oh, I can't remember your name. The creator of Purbeck, or not the creator, the MS Modding, who has converted with permission Purbeck to FS22. He's trying to get that released on Mod Hub, and I did ask if he would add grazing in, and I think he's going to have a look at it because we need more maps that support grazing. It's not adding grazing in, it's adding foliage areas that they should have anyway. So that'll be cool. That will be coming with my UK Geo as well, which is cool. It's really nice to have someone ask me before they release their map. Yeah, so there are mappers that whoa, steady, there we go. There are maps that are going to come. I'm hoping that when Court Farms comes out, because you know, Oxy is now aware that foliage areas need to be set. Hoping that they will be set on Court Farms so that we can graze animals, because that would be really nice. It would be really nice not to have to go in and do my kind of rush job of getting done. I did a better job on Calmston because it was going to be released. These were for my benefit, and the ones that are over on Carltech's farm, I think, are what I did in the video. So we have a fair bit of wool, and we need to do something with it. And actually, again, I'm needing names a lot on this one. I'm not always the best at pre-prepping lists of names that I need for stuff. I had a really good suggestion for on here. Well, no, actually, it was not. I'm going to use it on the on Greenlands, so ignore that. But the suggestion was to get a spinnery, and my other suggestion is don't hit your mic. Hopefully, I can edit that out. 26-ish minutes. Someone remember 26-ish minutes, because I don't have a pen and paper handy. You're not going to do it for me, are you? I'm going to have to write it down. I'll write it down. Yeah, to get a spinnery to process the wool. Now on here, I'm not so bothered about making cash, but on Greenlands we are going to do that because we have a lot of sheep. I'm basically just storing the wool on here until we get a good price come up, and then we'll sell it. Not really that worried about cash on here. With all of the Holsteins that we have, we are making, I think now, about 30 to 40 grand a day with the milk sale. So I've got the auto milk sales thing, and we're just making plenty of money off of that. You know, it's a nice steady income. It's yeah, we've recovered quite a bit of the money that we lost, well, that we used building Wellington Farm. So yeah, I'm just want to make space so it keeps spawning. Yeah, actually, the other thing, how many of you, because I've realized I've had a massive ID10T error on here. I have always been struggling with the sheep not reproducing on here. They're producing wool, which is kind of weird. And I realized that the sheep don't have automatic watering like the cows do. So, although I've been making sure they have food or that they're grazing, they didn't have water. So what I've done is I've installed automated watering for them because, yeah, I'm a dumb. You can't call me dumb because YouTube will filter it out. But I can call me dumb because I did a dumb. Anyway, next thing I want to do in here is sort out the sugar mill. We have a lot of sugar and we have a lot of molasses stored. What I wanted to do was just pick up the sugar so I could go and sell it. And I thought you could tell auto load to pick up one type of thing. Not sure if I need to update auto load or not, but we got a kind of a mixture of things. So I think my original plan was to pick the sugar up, take it and sell it, and then all of the molasses we will take over to Wellington Farm because we're using molasses in the feed there. And you can see we have 16,000 odd litres of sugar stored still and quite a lot of molasses. So I load up this random collection of stuff and then think, no, actually, let's be more sensible. We don't want a mixed load. So I end up swapping it so that I unload this and I just load all of the molasses up. I use a little bit of super strength to do that, just because it was easier. And what I wanted to do is get the molasses. I actually took auto load out because I could get more on the trailer that way. I'll add it back in because it's really useful. But for doing this, I couldn't get that many IBCs on the trailer. Probably need to make the load area wider, I think. The reason I didn't do it is because it was a really long drive to the sell point. I know. It's like the worst excuse ever. It's a really long drive on this map to get to some of the sell points. It's a longer drive to Wellington Farm from here. So, again, not my brightest moment. But I thought actually it's probably more useful to get all of the molasses up here because we can use it to feed the cows with and not have to buy molasses. So, and we should probably put some more sugar beet through the sugar sugar mill with byproducts by just Adam. I was wondering, so I've got all this sugar and I could just go and sell it, which I probably will do, but it feels like there should be something else I could do with it. I don't want to bake a cake or anything like that. But it feels like I should be able to turn it into something that I can use. But I'll probably just end up selling it because, yeah. So these molasses tanks from Just Add Adam, you can just fill with an IBC, which is really nice. But we have a lot of IBCs left, so because both of these tanks are full, because I haven't used that much yet. So you will have seen from the thumbnail that we're going to have some fun with a forklift. It's been a while since I've used a forklift. The last time I used a forklift was when I had a little community multiplayer running and we did silly amounts of the sorted and boxed potatoes, and I spent a lot of time stacking potato boxes in the warehouse that we had, and it was a lot of fun. So to do that, I used the Jurgen Reich reach truck, which is the one next to it, but we're going to go this guy. It's really good, but it's more of an indoor thing, I think. So we're going to go for this one. I'm going to lease it for now. I think actually we're probably going to end up buying it because I found it quite useful and quite good fun. We might we might want to get a low loader so we can move it between farms, because I don't think we'll need it up here that often. In fact, I don't know what we'll need it for back at the other farm. Maybe we just keep it here. Just, again, it's like bale physics are better. You know, I can now stack bales in the game. The pallet physics are generally a lot better. You know, this is quite a few IBCs of molasses that I'm going to attempt to stack in a shed. And it goes surprisingly well. I would have probably not even bothered attempting this in FS19 with IBCs, with a forklift. Did we have forklifts in FS19? I think we did, didn't we? But this just works really well. I know it's a base game, but it works really well. The modded ones work really well. We had on that game, we had the racing forklift, which someone might have rolled over, and it wasn't me. Yeah, so I'm just thinking this video is going to come out on the 24th. I think I said the giveaway would end on the 25th. So the way I'm going to do that, if you want to see the details of the giveaway, go and watch the last Attingham video, is I've got a website which will randomly pick the right comment. So once I close that, I'll record the video of me doing the draw and then include that in the Attingham video. It'll be the Attingham video after this, whenever that comes. So you've still got a day, I think, to enter. I'm just trying to check because I can't remember what I said. So let's just flick that video up. Joys of having a mobile phone in front of me with a half decent internet connection. Yeah, 25th. So this video will come out on the 24th. If you're watching it on the day of release, you'll have nearly 2 days to enter it actually still. And then on the 26th, which is, God, what day is that I'm claiming I'm going to do that? That's Thursday, that's okay. I'll record the draw and we'll see who wins. There aren't that many entries actually, so if you do want to win a copy of Warhammer, then go enter, because you've got a reasonably good chance. Yeah. It only occurred to me that maybe I should have been doing it for this video, but no, it'll be the next one, because this will be out too soon. Because that's just how it worked out. But yeah, this unloading worked so well. We've done almost all but 3. I had to move the JCB to have space to do stuff, obviously. yeah. So, who would have thought that I could stack IBCs with a forklift and not have it be an utter mess? I think, yeah, I think we're going to put some more sugar. I need to see how much sugar beet we've got, but I think we're going to put more of it through the sugar mill because I'm not using it in the TMR mix anymore. But we can make use of the beet pulp because we can silage that because I am using that. So that would be good. I think we might be using sugar beet for the pigs and maybe the sheep. I'll have to have a look at that and remind myself. So yeah, if it is just the pigs and the sheep, we don't need to keep that much sugar beet. So hopefully we can put, I think I only put like a trailer load full or two through the mill to get all of this. So it'll just make it much cheaper because molasses is not the cheapest to buy. I was kind of shocked when I filled up those 2 tanks just how much it cost. Mineral feed is the worst. Could really do with a way of getting cheap mineral feed. It needs to be in the farm supply pack. It really does. I don't know if there are any production mods for mineral feed. That might be an option. Anyway, we're pretty much done with this. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, guys. Or girls. There are some girls, I think, based on the YouTube stats. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. Do not smash like buttons here. If you break it, you have to buy me a coffee. Link below. Comments, questions, or suggestions below. And if you're new to the channel and you've watched me ramble on for 30 odd minutes, think about subscribing if you want. Turn on notifications for lots more videos like this and the other stuff that I've talked about. And I'll see you next time on Attingham Park.